Hello there, my name is Lovén. I head up the Corporate Strategy and Product in EMEA for Liquidnet. Well, the proposal for new regulation affecting dark pools in Europe, I believe will have quite a considerable impact on the dark landscape. Now, one thing to bear in mind is not all dark pools are equal. So we need to look at details when we talk about that, and we need to start talking about pre-trade transparency waiver. For trading, there are 3 pre-trade transparency waivers in Europe today. Now, 2 of these will be subject to a cap, a volume cap of 4% for an individual venue and 8% of the overall market. These 2 waivers are the reference price waiver and the negotiated trade waiver, which are the widely most used waivers out there today. And looking at replay of scenarios over 2013, taking the FTSE 100 as an example, these caps would have been breached 34 times in FTSE 100 stocks during 2013. If they breach this cap, it means they can't be traded under these waivers for 6 months. So that's considerable impact. Now for Liquidnet, the situation is very, very different. We are unique in the way that we've built our business model on the large in size waiver. Large in size waiver exists for institutions to implement large investment decisions and trade in block size. Now that waiver, this waiver is not impacted by any caps at all. The policymakers and the regulator recognize that there is a need in the market for this waiver to exist as it is today. If Liquidnet is using natural counterparties, or the concept of natural counterparty as a competitive advantage, absolutely. That is in fact one of the uniqueness of our liquidity pool. We have the purest, cleanest and most valuable liquidity pool in Europe because it's a pure buy-side to buy-side model, where buy-side institutions can source their liquidity and interact with each other away from the impact of other more predatory market participants. Toxicity in dark pools, it's a very interesting concept because again it comes back to this generic label of dark pools and what we're actually talking about. Dark pools is a generic label that covers so many wide and different activities. On one hand, you have an institutional block trading pool like Liquidnet, which arguably is the cleanest and most valuable liquidity pool in the world, in fact. And on the other hand, you have smaller exchange or MTF run dark pools targeted on the type of trading that you generally can do on a lit book in a fairly safe environment, very algo-driven, low average execution size, etc. And then you have the broad concept of BCN, broker crossing networks, in the middle, where you have a mix of proprietary, agency, market making, clients, counterparties, etc. So I think the concept of toxicity in dark pools is a question that's almost impossible to answer. You need to look into what type of dark pools are we talking about and then make an assessment of how these pools are constructed.